Hey, good morning. I just had some thoughts about CWD. I wanted to share with you. I live in southern Missouri Ozarks, and I'm an outfitter here. I've done hunted deer all my life. I'm in one of my cabins that we use for our guests. I'm just going to give you a little look around. Some of the animals I've got on the wall. A couple of big bucks there. We've killed right around on my place here. Anyway, some bears. We got a bunch of turkeys, a bunch of turkey beers. We uh, we hunt deer and turkey pretty pretty hard here. But I just wanted to share with you this one on the wall there behind me over my shoulder. That was he's nearly 180-inch deer. He's my best deer I've ever taken. I got him with a rifle last fall. So anyway, I've been blessed. The good Lord's been good to me. But I just wanted to, well, I had a few thoughts about chronic wasting disease. I wanted to just share some things with you. I did a flyer, and you may be able to see it around about chronic wasting disease that I would like people to print off and pass out, especially here in Missouri. You're welcome to print them off. You can get on Trophy Quest Outdoor Adventures on Facebook. Trophy Quest Outdoor Adventures, that's the name of my business. And I will have a copy of that on that site if you want to print it off and share it. I recommend printing them off and sharing at these meetings that these conservation departments are having on CWD. And let me just read you a little bit of what it says. Chronic wasting disease facts. And I'm going to go into a little more depth. I'll just read the brochure to you real quick. USDA and APHIS. Maybe some of you haven't heard of APHIS. It's the Animal Plant Inspection Services. They are the ones over the health of our domestic and our wildlife. And that's my dog. I'm gonna let her out. Hold on. There you go. Sorry about that. That's Penny. She's a great little dog. I had a copperhead in my shop yesterday, and she started barking, and it was striking at her, so we had to take care of the copperhead. But she is indispensable. She's a little Chewini. Anyway, talking about APHIS, they both say in a brochure, and on this brochure actually, I'll show you a little copy of it. This is a copy of some of their printing, and they say right in there that they don't know. It is still unclear what initially causes the normal shaped protein to misfold into the infectious form. They don't know what causes it to form, and they don't know how it spread. And they say that in another document. So they call it an infectious form of CWD, but they don't know that. That has not been proven that it infects other deer. That it can be shared deer to deer. They have a hypothesis that can happen. And what else do I have on here? The idea that CWD is spread by something called a prion is a hypothesis, which means they're guessing and they don't know. You can Google that, the prion hypothesis, and it will explain that, how they've just come up with this hypothesis, this theory that it's some kind of something that they call a prion. They have no pictures of it. They've never been able to find it. But they have this theory that there's something called a prion, and they're calling the misfolded protein a prion, but they don't know what causes that protein to misfold and cause that degradation in the myelin sheath covering your nerves and your spinal cord and the brain. So that's the issue, and that's really the heart of what I'm talking about here. And this document right here is I'll hold it up here. You can see it. This is the Association of Fish and Wildlife Agencies in Washington, D.C. And this is over a 100-page document that they put out. They had 30 game departments and biologists. They have all kinds of references to all their scientists and biologists and game departments that were involved in this. These are the people that are coming up with the policies on how to manage CWD. And they state right in there, they don't know what causes it, but yet they have all these things in case they're right by some chance that it's spread by body fluids between deer or stays into the ground. We're going to do all these unbelievable regulations. So a lot of people aren't talking about this. They're not talking about this. They're talking about other things. And even Ted Nugent, who I love Ted Nugent. Don't get me wrong, guys. Don't give me hate mail. I love Ted Nugent. I appreciate so much. He's a warrior for the cause. But I was watching his testimony in Minnesota. I think it was Minnesota or Michigan. But anyway, he was testifying, and he was talking about how crazy the feeding bans are. And I agreed with him on that. The feeding bans and stuff are crazy. But the point I'm making is he gave them that point that it spread through body fluids. And I'm not giving these game departments that point because their documents don't state that. And I wish, and Ted, if you're listening, I love you, brother. I love so much of what you do, but don't give them that, because if you give them what they have not proven, that it's spread through body fluids, you're not going to be, in my opinion, it's hard to be successful fighting that argument in that way. You've got to back up and go right to their documents like I'm doing and show they don't know what they're doing. And that's what the AFWA document that I held up with all those tabs in it, you can get a copy of that from AFWA. Get a copy. It's 100 pages. I printed it off. I went through it all with a highlighter, tabbed everything, made notes, studied it. Study that thing, and you'll see it's like maybe this, could be, might be, possibly. They don't know. And that's clear. I'll go through a little bit more on my little handout. On page 5 of that AFWA document, CWD is likely spread through the movement of animals. They don't know. I mean, all you people raising deer, read the AFWA document and highlight it. And this is where it's found on page 5. On page 10, killing deer may be effective in controlling CWD. They don't know. Page 10, nothing has worked to control CWD. None of this stuff has worked. On page 10, science may ultimately reveal how to effectively manage CWD, and currently is not. I mean, they admit they don't know. Page 17, a high likelihood of direct likelihood. That is not a certainty, folks. A high likelihood of direct or indirect transmission of CWD from infected animals, and the possibility of long-term contamination of natural habitats. And there's nothing definitive there. The possibility. They don't know. There's 162 uses of words like could. I already mentioned that, but could, appears, likely, may not, possibly, on and on. 162 times they use those words in that AFWA document. There's nothing in there that says, we know absolutely what causes CWD and how it's spread. It's not in there. Read it. Read it. Research it. I know most people don't. They've never heard of this. I thank my friend Dusty up in North Dakota who put me onto the document. He's done a great job. He's testified all over the place about it. Ted, get him on your show. He's a great source. On page 7, it says depopulation of an entire wild herd may not eradicate CWD. And because they don't know what causes it, it could be nutritional, it could be a mineral, vitamin deficiency in the soil, it could be sprays, it could be herbicides, pesticides. They don't know. Have they studied that? And you can have areas that say, well, 30% of the deer in our area are testing positive for CWD. Well, what does that mean? I mean, do you have a nutrient deficiency in that area? Do you have a lot of pesticides in that area? What is going on to cause that? They don't know. But their solution, ban all feeding, ban all mineral. I mean, banning minerals could be the thing that are actually helping eliminate CWD. They don't know, but yet kill all the deer. And again, I think it goes back to the people in these agencies and the Centers of Disease Control are all a bunch of liberals. They've never been out in the country like I have. I grew up in the country. I live out here. They have no idea. They have no idea. They're sitting in an office somewhere looking at their computer screen, going to college, learning all this garbage. And I'm sorry, and I think I've heard CWD referred to as the COVID in deer. I mean, now listen to this. If they use this same strategy, kill all the deer to slow the spread, this is the similar kind of thing to Alzheimer's, to these other folded protein diseases, Parkinson's, Jacobs-Creutzfeldt disease. They're all similar pathology. How would that work if they just started killing people? It's like, we're going to slow the spread of Alzheimer's. Would that work? Would that be, I mean, they don't know what causes Alzheimer's. Do you know that? They don't know. But yet these clowns, they don't know either, but yet they're going to kill all the deer and they're going to regulate the heck out of you and they're going to ruin hunting. They're going to ruin the sport. They're going to deny people a great food source. It's never been found to spread to humans. So that's what you're dealing with. That's what you're dealing with. And I also have on there, the Missouri Department of Conservation has taken over $19 million in grants to slaughter Missouri's deer in the last 4 years. 4 years, $19 million. That's a lot of money, people. They pay their people overtime when they're out shooting those deer. I imagine the people out shooting those deer really like that extra money coming in from slaughtering deer. So they've hired a whole bunch of people to slaughter these deer. They're killing thousands and thousands of deer in Missouri, and they're going to be killing more. 80% of the state now. They went from one county to 80% of the state. They've really slowed the spread, haven't they? And it's out of control, people. Let's see. And also MDC is the richest game department in the country. Did you know that? They get more money from their eighth-inch sales tax and their licenses combined, $250 million plus, roughly, to slaughter this deer. That's $100 million more than Arkansas gets for their wildlife agency. It's a similar sized state. 99% of the deer that they're killing do not test positive for CWD, and their test is bogus. They're not testing the nerves. They're not testing the brain. They're testing the lymph nodes in the neck, which are the filter of a deer's body, their lymph nodes, and they won't even. I asked to see what kind of tests they're doing, and they only use their approved labs. They don't let other people test. I mean, it's. They just want to take the money. They want to take our tax dollars, throw it down a rat hole like this, pay all their buddies, and the people running these departments, they've drank the Kool-Aid. They are locked in. They believe this stuff. They haven't even heard this side of it. I'm sure none of them have read the AFWA document. I've been talking about this a while. None of them said, "Oh yeah, we read that, but here's the reason why we don't follow that." Nobody's ever said that. I've never talked to anybody that's ever read it in any of these departments. And no elected official is voting on these regulations. They're imposed on Missourians by an elite group of bureaucrats who follow the marching orders of USDA, APHIS, U.S. Fish and Wildlife, Centers of Disease Control, and other radical leftist-leaning organizations that are implementing the rewilding of America and the attack on hunting and property rights. And it is an attack on hunting, and it's an attack on our property rights. I mean, I own the land that I hunt on. I'm not hunting on state ground. I own the land that we hunt on. How can they come on my land when they don't even know what causes this and start telling me all these regulations that I got to follow and how we dispose of deer and all this junk science, just like just like so much of their other junk science. I'm sick of it. I've had enough of it, and I hope people wake up. I hope share this with your friends, people. I mean, our Missouri Department of Conservation, their good science gave us otters that cleaned out all the fish and out of the rivers and many of our lakes. Multiflora rose, which is a horrible rose bush that spread all over the place by birds and bird droppings. I've got it all over my place. I kill it constantly. I was killing a bunch of it yesterday. I kill it all the time, and it never goes away. It's just everywhere. It continues to spread, and if you don't control it, it'll take your whole farm. I mean, it's horrible stuff. Thank you, Department of Conservation. They had they gave it away that you could grow a living fence. I mean, junk science. What else? Bush honeysuckle, they helped with. Autumn olive, that's another invasive now. Bradford pear, that's a real dandy. That's spreading all over. Just on and on and on with the junk science. This CWD stuff is junk science. I think you get the point. Again, I'm going to share this this flyer that I just read to you from. There's a little bit more on there. I didn't go through the whole thing, but read that and get the AFWA documents. Do your research. I mean, it's pretty conclusive. Here's the if you Google that, this is the prion hypothesis. You can Google it. And listen to this. The infectious protein hypothesis has become the prevailing explanation for the causation of prion diseases. However, in recent years, following the recognition of their ineffectivity, other hypotheses regarding infectious agents have been proposed. In other words, they don't know what causes prions. It's a hypothesis that there's a prion. So folks, I'm going to end. I'm going to keep it short. We're at a little over 17 minutes. Let's save our deer. Let's save hunting. Let's save the Second Amendment. Speak out. Let's tell these game departments, we want to see the facts, and they don't have any. All they got is a bunch of bogus junk research that they pay these researchers to go out and come up with these crazy explanations so they can continue to get all these tax dollars, waste our money, kill our deer, and ruin our sport. And ruin a great food source. It's out of control. Thank you for listening. I'm Bob Parker. I live in southern Missouri. Trophy Quest Outdoor Adventures is my operation. You can check that out on Facebook, where I'll put that flyer. And God bless you. Let's save this country. Let's save hunting.